Things you probably didn't know about Iran. Number 1. Iran might be the most energy-rich country on Earth. Iran is arguably one of the most energy-abundant nations on the planet. It holds the third largest proven oil reserves in the world, behind Venezuela and Saudi Arabia, and the second largest natural gas reserves, behind only Russia. Combined, this gives Iran access to an almost unmatched stockpile of fossil fuels that are not only vast in scale but relatively easy and cheap to extract compared to offshore North Sea drilling, Arctic exploration, or complex shale operations. In theory, that level of resource wealth should almost guarantee prosperity. Energy demand remains strong globally, and Iran sits in a prime geographic position to pipe gas into Asia or ship oil through some of the busiest maritime routes on Earth. On paper, it has everything it needs to dominate regional energy markets and build long-term national wealth. Number 2. Despite that wealth, Iran struggles to sell its oil. Here's the twist. Having oil is not the same as being able to sell oil. For decades, Iran has faced some of the heaviest economic sanctions in the world, primarily led by the United States. These sanctions make it extremely risky for foreign companies and even entire countries to engage in direct trade with Iran. Businesses that violate these restrictions can lose access to U.S. markets, banking systems, and global financial infrastructure. As a result, Iran often sells its oil through indirect channels, discounted contracts, or complex arrangements that reduce its profit margins. Instead of maximizing the value of its natural resources, it frequently has to accept lower returns just to move product at all. Number 3. Iran sits at one of the most strategic locations on Earth. Geographically, Iran's position could hardly be better. It has a long coastline along the Persian Gulf and sits near the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most critical energy choke points in the world. A significant portion of the global oil trade passes through these waters. On top of that, Iran lies roughly at the crossroads between Europe, Central Asia, South Asia, and the Middle East. It is almost centered between the world's largest population clusters. In a fully integrated global economy, this positioning would make Iran a natural logistics hub, a bridge between established European markets and rapidly expanding Asian economies. Few countries are as geographically advantaged for trade and energy transit. Number 4. Iran uses more energy than you'd expect, but gets less out of it. Normally, there's a strong correlation between energy consumption and economic output. Wealthy countries use large amounts of energy to power industries, transportation, data centers, and climate control systems. Iran consumes more energy per capita than some developed European nations, yet its economic output per person is dramatically lower. This gap highlights inefficiencies within the economy. Cheap energy subsidies reduce incentives to conserve or innovate, and infrastructure limitations prevent optimal use of available resources. In simple terms, Iran uses a lot of energy, but doesn't convert that energy into proportional economic productivity. Number 5. Iran has massive energy reserves, yet experiences blackouts. It sounds almost unbelievable, but one of the most energy-rich countries in the world regularly faces electricity shortages. Iran has abundant natural gas supplies and power plants capable of generating electricity, yet outdated infrastructure, mismanagement, and restricted access to modern grid equipment have led to recurring blackouts. The country experiences extreme seasonal temperature swings with very hot summers and cold winters, both of which increase domestic energy demand. Upgrading national transmission networks requires specialized equipment that is often difficult to import under sanctions. The result is a paradox: energy abundance paired with domestic shortages. Number 6. Gasoline in Iran is among the cheapest in the world. To support its population, Iran heavily subsidizes fuel. On paper, gasoline prices appear extremely low compared to global averages. However, because of currency distortions and inflation, the real domestic price can be even lower than official exchange rates suggest. This creates unintended consequences. When fuel is dramatically cheaper inside one country than in neighboring states, smuggling becomes lucrative. A thriving black market has developed where subsidized Iranian fuel is transported across borders and sold at enormous markups, yet still undercuts official prices elsewhere. In effect, some of the most profitable oil businesses in Iran aren't large corporations. They're small-scale cross-border traders exploiting price differences. Number 7. Iran's biggest challenges may be demographic and structural. Beyond oil and sanctions, Iran faces deep structural challenges. Inflation has been persistently high, unemployment remains a concern, and brain drain has led many highly educated young professionals to leave the country in search of better opportunities. At the same time, Iran's population is aging rapidly, and birth rates have fallen significantly. An aging population means fewer young workers supporting more retirees, increasing pressure on state finances. Real structural reform would require reducing subsidies, modernizing industries, and opening up more private economic freedoms. But such changes are politically sensitive. This leaves Iran in a difficult position. Enormous potential, constrained by economic realities and institutional rigidity.